connecting you to people, knowledge, and business development in the line striping industry. This is Stripe It Like It's Hot. Brought to you by Blacktop Banter with your host, Cam Roberts.
What's happening, Pod Squad? Welcome into another episode of Stripe It Like It's Hot. What is this? The fourth episode in a row we've done this like with another human being, or not on Zoom.
Not on Zoom. Yeah,
we're moving on up in the world. We had a guest lined up today, and last week. Both of them got sick, so that's no good. Flakers, you know who you are. Hopefully we get them on next week. So instead, Matt and I are here live in the studio with this kind of strange setup because you didn't realize you were going to be on camera today and recording with. Well, here we are. You're recording with me. So what we decided to do is, especially since Matt's been here, we get a lot more traction, a lot more views on the YouTube, a lot more interactions, a lot more questions. So Matt has curated his own personal list of his favorite questions that people have sent into the show on YouTube or Instagram. I'm guessing some of these I haven't even looked at or answered yet.
Yeah.
It used to be so easy to keep up. Now it's hard. Thanks, Matt. Anyways, so that's all I got for intro. Take it away, and we're going to answer random striping questions today.
All right.
Let's
First
go.
question. The first few are going to be questions that you haven't seen or answered yet.
Perfect.
First one from a guy named Rory McKinnery.
Rory McIlroy?
I wish.
Oh, that'd be so sweet.
Oh.
Anyways.
Chinese painting machine Yan Feng?
Yep.
His question was, would you recommend?
I can't answer that question. Do I look at you or the camera, by the way? There's no rules today, right?
No,
just
no
do
rules.
Okay, just do whatever.
You feel like.
I'll do both. People are listening on podcasts are like, what are you even talking about? Answer the question about the Chinese machine. Okay, Chinese machine. I have no experience. That's the real answer. Now, that being said, I'm going to shout out a boy of mine from the Blacktop Banter group. Hopefully he's listening. If not, I'll tell him to. James Yates. So I met this dude in person at National Pavement Expo last year. And he asked me kind of a question like this. He's like, you know what you should do for content? And he's like, you should get one of those striping machines from Alibaba that are like, like, I don't even know how much money they are, but they look like, a Titan or a Graco Titan or line painting machine. He's like, you should get it. Like, content alone would be like amazing. And like, who knows, maybe they're actually good. And I remember saying to him, yeah, that's a great idea. You should do that. And so funny enough, him and I were just chatting a few weeks ago. I think he's going to do it.
Really?
What was the name of the brand in the comment? It was
Yan Feng. YANFENG.
Sounds like, well, it's got some fang to it. It's got some.
Sure.
Tell you what, rather than talk about something I don't know about, just in general, my strategy in my business is very straightforward. I am not an auction hunter. I don't look at auctions. I don't look at buying used equipment generally. Sometimes we will. We've bought demo models of stuff. I don't think it's a great plan. Like, I'm picturing this machine in this case. Like, what happens when you need parts? Where are you buying Xiaofeng? What was it? Sorry?
Yanfeng.
Yanfeng. Where are you going to buy Yanfeng parts, right? So you'd have to like stock up and make sure you have them. You're going to lose a lot of dealer support, obviously, unless you got a great sales rep in Hong Kong or something. I suppose it's possible. But generally, when you go that route, you're not getting those things. You're sacrificing customer support in favor of just a price. So I take that one step further and I think about that like literally in what we do, Matt, at Laser, which is, we might not always be the cheapest. In fact, often we're not. But what do people get for that? Well, they get convenience. They get like, digital contracts they sign. They don't have to print. They get, communication platform where they can see photos, and they get all these little perks to what we do. So I would be cautious of it. I think whatever, if you got $2,000 or whatever to try it, why not?
Yeah, but if you're spending $2,000 on one of those, you might as well just spend a little more on Graco or
up a little bit. Yeah, get a Graco. They'll start at around $5,000 ish. So yeah. But by the way, how many questions we got? I don't know how long I'm supposed to jam about these.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, so 5 minutes a question ish.
Yeah, something
Cool.
like that. Yeah.
All right. Hopefully we answered the question on Yaofeng.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Second question from Dennis Kubler. I apologize if I'm butchering any of these
Probably
names.
butchering.
Probably. Do you ever have employees that get jealous when you grow and make more revenue?
Fascinating question. Whoa. So, have we ever had employees who get jealous? The answer is no. And I think I have the reason why. Boy, you really didn't prepare me for these. No, because what we've done in this company is, it's grown fast, right? So at this moment, there's 23 of us, which is crazy, just because we scale up in winter. During the summer season, probably at the start of peak season here, like in May for us, we'll probably have 15, 16 or so. And that'll probably go up a little bit in the summer too. But as the company's grown, I've tried really hard to set that expectation with people, which is, yes, we're going to do more work. Yes, there's going to be more bigger jobs, which means more money coming into the company. But it also costs a lot of money to produce bigger jobs. So, when we buy new equipment, what we're really trying to do, and I feel like we could do a better job at, is explaining to people, this is why we take care of this stuff. Because if we buy a $40,000 grind laser like we did this summer, and we don't look after those things, yes, we can go produce big jobs, but we're just going to spend all that money in fixing stuff. We're going to spend money in all sorts of ways, just because we're inefficient. I don't really think I'm answering this question.
I think this guy's assuming that all the revenue is just going to you.
Totally. Yeah, you're right. That's the root of the question, right? And so on the podcast, at times I've shared this before. I'm very candid about this. That's a concern. It used to be a big concern of me. Oh my goodness, people are going to think I'm just sitting with my feet on the desk, cashing them checks, working off the sweat of other people's back. That's how it feels. When I first started hiring people to do production work, especially go out into the job, stripe something, and I'm not there. But what it really comes down to, and this could be a whole other topic for another day, is do people understand what we're trying to do and where we're going? What are we trying to accomplish? And that goes down to not just the company, but even individually. We just had a conversation with somebody a couple of weeks ago where it was, sometimes in order to go farther in the company, which means you making more money, sometimes you have to do a little bit less. You have to kind of niche yourself down and focus in on one or two things. So it's those kinds of ongoing conversations in the company that really show people look, we're not just in it for the revenue. Because if we were, that'd be annoying. One other thing I've said on the show before too is especially during the summer, there's some busy times in the season where many of the people in production make more money than me on a paycheck basis. And I'm okay with that. So I don't mind sharing that with them, not to brag or in any way, but it's just to show them look, there's something more important than me cashing my paycheck.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Dennis, we answered, or I answered that.
All right.
You're making me nervous. That was a heavy question. Whew, good grief.
Next question is from, I'm definitely going to butcher this, Luis Labario.
Luis Labario.
How do you make sure the paint remains a consistent viscosity?
Wow. Did he spell viscosity right?
I did.
you did. Because you wrote it out phonetically.
Yeah.
I already forgot the question. How do you keep the paint consistent?
Yeah.
Interesting. So we're in cold climate. And I'll tell you one thing. That's actually a thing. When you paint in cold climates and you have paint that's warm from the shop or whatever, and you start spraying it, we noticed this at a runway once. We were doing a really precise runway job where literally the tolerance was 5 millimeters, dude. So they would measure, the surveyor would measure 5 millimeters. So my fingertip is 1 centimeter for you Americans there. So very little room for error. And what happens is if you set your line width to where you need it to be, 4-inch line or 6-inch line, and the paint is warm, the moment it gets cold, because it's cold outside when we were doing this job in October, the paint starts to get thick, and so your line width actually goes down. So viscosity, as Louis said. Louis?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Louis.
Very important. So because we're in cold climate, one thing we do is we've taught our production staff, you might have paint that you're taking from the shop where it's warm, or your garage or wherever you are. As soon as you get to the job site and it's cold, put some inside the cab of the truck. And I used to actually idle the truck too, just to keep it warm, because it was so annoying when the paint gets cold and viscosity gets messed up. And then as you take those pails, take 2 from the trailer or the box of the truck, put it inside, keep it the same temperature. I'd say temperature is the main thing. Yeah. But I also know there's dudes in Texas who like the paint films over in like a microsecond because it's so warm. So I actually don't really have a ton of experience. Like when we stripe at plus 30 and you like lift up your lid and you pour in a fresh pail of paint. I'm explaining this to you like you care. Yeah, because you do care.
I do.
You pour the paint in the pail and it starts to gum up really fast because now it's like starting to set basically, right? So if that's the case, the only thing we've done is just mix in a little bit of whatever reducer for that paint. So xylene, acetone, something like that. Give it a good mix. That's the other thing. Mix it, bro. Did you know that we have a 1-page how-to on how to mix paint?
No.
You didn't know that?
No.
So literally, as funny as this sounds, to wrap up the viscosity question, yeah, I learned that the way I mix paint was different than the way other people would. So like whether like how long you ran the drill, or like, you know, would you scrape the bottom of the pail with the scraper or the drill extension to like get the crud off the bottom. And so what I found was, yeah, the way people mix pails will change the viscosity. So we standardized standard operating procedure. We SOP'd how to mix a paint pail.
It makes that big of a difference.
Yeah. When I wrote the SOP, I was like, thought it was a joke.
Right.
Because I'm like, this is the dumbest thing. This is going to be insulting to people. This is how you mix a paint pail. But it actually matters. Yeah, it totally does. You got to mix it the same way. So one day we'd like to get a paint mixer in the shop. That way you don't have to like use a drill at all.
Smart.
I'm trying.
All right. Next question. This is from Section Millionaire.
Oh, we should be asking him questions.
Yeah, right. What do you do with your waste paints? So I guess if we have paint that we don't need anymore.
Did you see my face get really serious?
Yeah.
What do I want to do with it, or what do we ethically do? Hey!
Is this even a question we should?
Oh no, I'm totally gonna answer because yeah,
Okay.
we don't do shady stuff. Waste paint, he said, or waste pails.
Yeah, he said waste paint.
Waste paint, yeah. Okay, differentiation there. So if there's like a little bit of paint in the pail, not much, like a little bit of cruddy stuff. The center where we take our paint pails are generally pretty favorable. They won't really make a thing of it. Unless it's like, if it's good, you got like a couple inches of material, they're going to not take it. So, when I started striping, I didn't have waste paint because I was ruthlessly committed to not wasting paint. But it happens as you grow, right? People have, different ways of doing things, and it happens. What we do now is we have an environmental company that we either drop them off or they come pick them up. And it is insanely expensive. You would die. How much do you think it would cost to truck out, say, 4 pails of paint? Because that's what we did last time. No, it wasn't 4. I think it was 3. 3, like, we combined a lot of wastage. We had some accidents and blah, blah, blah.
Did you drop it off or they pick it up?
Honestly, don't know. I can't remember if they picked it up. It'd be like an extra $100 to pick it up or whatever. But how much do you think they charged us for 3 pails of paint?
3 pails of paint.
Yes, sir.
It can't be that much.
You would think.
$250?
$1,000.
Oh my God.
$500. $500 a pail. Because waste paint, in Canada, and I'm sure it's the same in the States, it's like waste is actually federally regulated. So like you can't just dump paint down a catch basin, which you should never do anyways. Let's be real. But no, there's strict laws on how they have to dispose of it too. So
expensive.
I would start with your a local environmental company, and maybe we're spoiled where we are because we have like a lot of oil and gas and forestry and stuff where waste is a thing, right? Toxic waste and stuff. But that's going to be expensive. Do not do anything unethical. The reason why my face got serious is because I always think about this. We're in Canada. There's like 1 million square feet of nothing. Like if you have like half a pail of paint, I'm pretty sure you could safely bury it somewhere, not by a water source, but it's not the right thing to do. So we don't do that. Instead, what we try is, I view everything as an opportunity. So when I saw the bill, funny story, I literally thought it was for something completely different because I'm like, there's no way it was paint pails.
Right.
Oh, bro, it was paint pails. And I was like, holy cow, $1,500.
It's a lot of money.
So to me, that's an opportunity to now go back to your operations and your production people and say, hey, just so you know. This is how much it cost. And obviously we all contribute to that cost because, you know, it's not just one person wasting paint. Sometimes it's like just
A few.
careless mistakes,
Right.
but it doesn't matter who made the mistakes. This is how much it costs. So this matters. Let's
Try
use this
not
as an
to do that.
opportunity to not do it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
All right, next one is from Nick Bailey. What's a reasonable revenue goal for part-time striping? I have a 40-hour-a-week job, and I'm looking to do this in my extra time.
40-hour week job.
Yeah.
Striping on the side.
Yep.
That should be the spin-off podcast.
We talk about a lot about it.
Oh, stripe it on the side. So I'm deciding how candid I want to be here. How candid should I be? Yeah.
Well, you did it part-time for a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm not a good example though. So I did it, only because like I quit my job really early in my progression in striping. So I did one season in Canada, which is like 6 months, part-time, not knowing what I was doing. And I did 30K in revenue Canadian, which is like 25 American. So that was cool. Paid for the machine, paid for some paint. You know, I had to buy some other stuff, but it was good. And then the next year I just quit my job. But that's because the market demand was going up so fast. I was like, I can't do both. I'd like to have a life. So, well, I'll say this. So actually, he came on the podcast, but John Stanton came on the podcast. And I know he listens to every show. So I'm like, hey, John, how you doing? He came on the podcast because I started working with him one-on-one. He was actually the first person I ever started working with one-on-one. And actually to this day, he's still part-time. And all I will say is he doubled his revenue. Like he does over 6 figures in revenue. Part-time. Yeah. American.
Pretty good.
So like convert that to our money. Man, that's pretty good. Now he has to do a butt ton of work to do that.
Right.
So he's a hardworking dude. He's a harder worker than I am.
Does he have another job on the side?
Yeah. He's a full-time employee
He's
somewhere.
making over 100. Damn.
In revenue.
Guy's committed.
He's a hardworking dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he does a great job, and obviously his pricing is good. He's not a cheap price, so he's got a really, really great thing. So it's definitely possible. You could absolutely do that. You know, obviously there's going to be like, you know, how much are you willing to put in? Is really what it comes down to. There are people who can do 6 figures of revenue. Obviously not profit, right? There's a lot of expenses to make that happen. And John, to his credit, doesn't just do striping. He does seal coating as well. So sometimes you can sell some very expensive seal coating jobs. But it's possible, man. And I realize that's kind of a dumb answer, but it really is. Your output is based on your input. So all I know is that when I did 30K and it was trending to go more than double, I was like, there's no way I'm going to stick around. I'm not that hard a worker. I'm not going to do it. So
I think that's a good answer. Next question is...
Whoa, hold on. I just had a brain thought. If I was that guy, what was his name? Nick?
Nick Bailey.
Nick Bailey. What's up, Nick Bailey? Look, what I might consider doing, if I haven't started yet, just break down month by month how much revenue do you think I could make in like the peak season, and just kind of break it down. Like basically create your first budget and your projections. Like, what do I actually think I could do? Like, what does $10,000 a month in revenue look like? It's $2,500 a week. Well, what does that look like? If you have a job minimum of like $800, that's 3 jobs, 3 minimum jobs. So now you ask yourself, well, is it reasonable for me to do 3 jobs a week while still working full time? If some of those jobs are 2-3 hours long, maybe the answer is yes. But some of those jobs might be like 6 hours. So I would look at it that way, break it down month by month, and then, yeah,
justify it. Yeah.
100%.
That
Sorry
makes
for
sense.
cutting you off, bro.
Oh, all good. All
Yeah.
good. Next one, you actually did answer this on YouTube,
Uh-oh.
but I'm going to ask it
We'll
anyways.
see if I change my mind.
Yeah, we'll see. This is from Everything High End. I don't know if you remember that.
Gucci. No, but I
No.
like the name. Everything high end.
What do you do when you're using thermoplastic? Do you still use the regular stencils you would use for paint, or is there some aluminum stencils you get made up?
Not only do I not remember answer it, I don't even understand the question. Say it. What did I answer?
I think he figures we're spraying thermoplastic and using stencils.
Like hot melt. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, this is a great question then, because if you don't know, if you've never done thermoplastic. Fair enough. So, at the risk of going way back too far and giving a boring answer. Look, where we are in Canada, thermoplastic just isn't that big of a thing. Like the highway guys, all the turn arrows on the roads and stuff. they are thermoplastic on the highways, but even our municipality here, they just recently started experimenting with thermoplastic. So the few times that an interesting contract opportunity comes up to us that requires thermoplastic, well, if you want to do like traditional thermoplastic, which I think is what he's referring to, so you buy like bricks basically of plastic and you melt them, usually in like its own standalone melter thing. Melt all your bricks, and then you extrude that into a push cart machine. So now you got your push cart machine, which pukes out the thermoplastic. That's an expensive setup. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like you need a melter, you need the push cart. So basically an investment into thermoplastic, the traditional thermoplastic, is like tens of thousands of dollars. And we just didn't think it was worth it because like we might get a few jobs a year maybe. Right. So we just stayed away from it. So what we do is we do preformed thermoplastic. You know where I was going with that. Yeah, you're learning all the lingo. Yeah. So preformed thermoplastic is awesome because all those things like your stencils that high-end everything was asking about is all prefabricated. So like a crosswalk block, which is one of the most common things that we sell or do, comes shipped in pieces of a crosswalk block. So then you just literally lay it down, torch it down, and you're good to go. So if you were going to do like hot melt thermoplastic, like traditional thermoplastic, I don't even know how you'd do it. I'd go on TikTok and see how those. Yeah.
There must be some sort of preformed something that you could pour that into.
Probably an aluminum stencil, but at the same, like that would just be odd to me. Like I don't, and that's a big reason why preform became a thing, is because people are like, oh, this thermoplastic stuff lasts forever. How do we make it into stencils? Well, it turns out, have you ever seen the famous video with the guy with the pot full of yellow thermoplastic, and he does the handicap stencil freehand? Dude, it's unreal. He's got like a little chalk outline of where it's supposed to be and the wheel and everything, and he literally just pours into this little kettle thing, and he hand does the wheelchair, and he's got a little 4-inch screed, and he makes it this perfect 4-inch line. It's unbelievable. Oh. I would never do that. Because if you screw it up,
that's easy to mess up.
Oh, it'd be so easy. So that tells me that, yeah, there's not a real great solution. Aluminum I'm sure would work, but at that point, if you need to do like any stencil work with thermoplastic, just buy a preform, man.
Cost-wise, it makes more sense.
Torch it down. One thing we get asked a lot is like, do you need a special torch? Nope.
Tiger torch.
So the suppliers will tell you you do. And I'm sure, if we actually had the $1,000 super torch thing, whatever they call it, I'm sure it would be a little nicer. Tiger torch. 100%. So yeah, shout out to our supplier, Gentem. Love Gentem. I'm going to tell Brian we put him in the episode here. Yeah, Brian, plug in your stuff. Love Gentem. Their products are insane. One other thing just popped in my brain. Another benefit of preformed thermoplastic. You've seen some of the playground work we've done. Yeah, we went to Quesnel. You saw that huge,
very nice,
massive bird decal.
I'll put it up on the screen.
Thank you. Massive bird decal, as you can see in the image here on YouTube. And then we also did the 4 squares, which you can now see in the image on the screen. And then what else did we do there? I don't even remember. 4 square. Hopscotch.
Hopscotch, yeah.
Yeah. No way you could do that by hand. Preform.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
Almost. Oh, not worth it.
No. To get nice straight lines. Different colors.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is like, oh my goodness, you buy 8 blocks of colors to melt stuff. Now it takes so much time to clean out your machines. Forget it.
It's just not worth it.
Preform it up.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, last question.
Last one.
This is it's definitely something we've talked about before.
Okay.
But it gets asked a lot. And that is...
Why are you smiling? I'm sorry.
Which Graco machine do you recommend for starting?
Hello. Why are you laughing? It's a good question.
I think when I was going through questions, this came up about 12 times.
Yeah, man. So when you clip this for TikTok and stuff, it'll be this one. Yeah. Which Graco machine should I buy? Well, what's up, Pod Squad? This episode of the show is brought to you by our friends at Mighty Line Floor Tape. So, true story, our company started using Mighty Line. We found the product like half a year ago, 2023, we found it, and we started using it, and I was blown away. The product is incredible. And so many of us in the striping industry want to do interior striping, but we also know that interior striping on concrete usually does not work out very well. This is a fantastic solution. If you have customers that want safe walk lines or customized floor decals, check out their website on Mighty Line. It's incredible. They have an awesome portfolio of stuff. And if you've never tried the product before, head to the website, let them know that you got the info from the podcast, and they will actually send you a free sample box. Check it out, Mighty Line Floor Tape. We are so grateful for them to be sponsoring the podcast. I would say that Graco's not the only manufacturer. I would say that. This podcast does not have a sponsorship with any, major manufacturers.
There's Titan.
There's Titan sprayers.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then
Yanfeng.
Yanfeng. You beat me to it. And there's so many options. Actually, in that regard, there's actually, I just had a brain fart. Bezos. You know anything about Dimitri, eh? So he's been manufacturing machines in Europe forever, and they just started coming to North America. People love them. He was at Pavex. Unreal stuff. Actually, shout out to Striping Guy because he did an interview with Dimitri and they walked through the machines and stuff on YouTube. Yeah, we should have done that. Yeah. Anyways, which Graco machine should I start with? Yes, our company, Laser Pavement Solutions, do a lot of striping. We use Graco machines. I have nothing against Titan, which is really the only main manufacturer out there. Graco just has a lot more technology. So I would say starting out, their entry-level gas-powered parking lot striping machine is a Graco 3400. You can do so much with that thing, man. Like you can probably get it for like $4,000 American, $5,000 American. That's all I used for a year and a half. You can't hook up a line driver to it. It's a little bit too small. Doesn't even have a hitch for it. But that machine, dude, I did over $100,000 revenue with that. I went and painted a small town. You know where Chetwynd is, right? Yeah. I painted Chetwynd, bro, all with that machine by myself at night, which is just ridiculous. Like that machine should have broke. But that's the thing. Gracos don't break. So if you need to get in inexpensive, a Graco 3400 is a great way to go. That's what he was asking, right? Best first machine.
That's what a lot of people were asking. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, make sure we link up we've done YouTube content on this too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So make sure we link that up. But I will say, if you're a bargain hunter kind of guy, I'm not really, not an auction guy, but Graco 3900s, they're pretty much impossible to break. Ours don't break, and we're pretty rough on them. We have 3 of them, 3, something like that. And if you buy a used one, it's as long as it runs good on day one, it'll probably keep running for you for a long, long time. Easy to work on. Even pump repacks are easy to do. We don't have the luxury of having a service center here, which really stinks. So we just have to learn how to fix stuff. But most big cities have a Graco service center, so you can always take a used thing in there to get it looked at. So yeah, for full details, check out our other content.
I'll link it.
Yeah, there you go.
I think that's it.
That's it?
That's it for now.
You got any questions, man?
Do I? No.
No, you got nothing?
No, I got nothing.
All right.
But
If that's the case. We appreciate the feedback. We really do. Yeah. And I need to do a better job of actually answering those questions.
There's a lot lately.
On YouTube, I just learned that you can cycle out questions or comments I haven't responded to yet. I just discovered that 3 weeks ago. I got work to do. All right. Thanks for the content, the questions. Keep them coming. Keep your stripes hot. Talk to you next week.